This is for Governor Lamont and for any Democrats working with Ned to try to make Connecticut much better. I'm Mark Greenstein, not working with Ned, though I'd like to. And from afar, please, I hope you all listen. There are two proposals cited by Russell Blair in today's Hartford Courant about changing policy in ways that the Working Families Party would like. Please recognize the Working Families Party is not for working families, okay? They're anti-business at every single step. They have a catchy name, but it's a name that is a chimera. Yes, some General Assembly people got a decent amount of help from the Working Families Party. Not sure that that was necessary, okay? They would have voted the Democrat line anyway because all the new assemblymen were elected because of Trump, okay? That's it. That's the real explanation. It's not some upsurge in Working Families Party. You had an ally, every one of those Democrat assemblymen, in Donald Trump. And to some extent, Bob Stefanowski. So let's take away the politics behind it. Let's look at how it hurts minimum wage and paid family leave. The minimum wage proposal does not truly help a family because it's still not enough to get family incomes high, but it is a stepping stone getting cut out for a lot of people that want to get on the economic ladder. Because you know this, as soon as wages are forced to be higher, employers can't pay it all. Anyone right now paid $12 an hour who is facing a mandatory $15 an hour wage gets fired. How do you help economic progress with a lot more young people or returning to work older people that now can't get hired? Okay, their skills yet are not worth $15 an hour. They might be worth 10, 11, or 12, and they're getting a job. And especially for young people, they're getting responsibility. They're getting an appreciation for customer service. They're getting the qualities of being a good work person with colleagues, with bosses, showing up on time. For God's sakes, when you ask employers in Connecticut now, what do you need for somebody to be hired? A lot of manufacturers just say 2 legs and show up on time. Okay? Lack of work ethic is the biggest problem for a lot of young people. Minimum wage artificially hiked rips out that floor that starts a lot of young people on careers. Artificially hiked minimum wage is even worse, drive away employers. Okay? There is no way you attract as many outside companies, Ned, as you would like to with a forced high minimum wage. Just ask, of all places, Seattle. Okay? Robust, dynamic Seattle. But restaurants in Seattle have closed in a much higher proportion than the rest of Washington state over the last 3 years. Why? They put a $15 mandated minimum wage on restaurant workers. Okay? At least 700 workers laid off because their restaurants closed or downsized. New kiosks come up to replace workers permanently because technology does tend to do that, but a high minimum wage speeds it up. You are in the corner of the least privileged people when you say no to an artificial wage hike. The other is paid family leave. That too is something the Working Families Party champions, but it's a dagger at business. Okay? You do not want to enact this because what business wants to come here when half its younger workforce, I say women, then become likely to skip out? Skip because they have free money coming to them. Okay? No diminution in career, why not? And here's a real, for the employer side, unfortunate thing. I'm a conservative, so I don't mind this, but a lot of these women, they take their 8 weeks and they realize, you know what, let's stay home, okay? My husband will work harder, and I'm going to leave the workforce totally, okay? For an employer, bad news, okay? He doesn't want to employ the younger woman when the state is going to say, guess what, as soon as there's a pregnancy, that younger woman's no longer going to stay in your employ, at least for that temporary period, maybe for even longer. Please be in the at least mindset of businesses. Please, because you give more opportunity to individuals when you have robust employment. If there are more businesses in the state, it gives women and younger workers more choices, okay? They're stuck in a job, not with a lot more employers competing for their services. Get more business here, and every individual is uplifted by the choices that they have. Fewer businesses coming, some businesses just plain exiting, and you crush the number of people who might be the neediest. Back to minimum wage for one last thing. Ned, if minimum wage is artificially hiked, it causes inflation. That's because it's not just the lowest tiered workers. Now, the worker who's been with the company 3 years, okay, now is making $15 an hour, but suddenly the rookies making the same amount can't have that. They have to have a higher wage too. So now they've got to go to $19 or $20 an hour. You don't think that causes inflation? Absolutely does. Who does inflation hurt the most? The poorest families. Okay? Rich people can handle inflation. Prices for their clothing rise 20%. We can handle it. When you have somebody who is marginal, that 20% rise on food and clothing and services, they're the ones who suffer the most.